Okay, so if you're listening to today, then I'm guessing you're wanting some tips on what to do and how to cut back on expenses and how to improve your finances. Well, I'm not here today to make you a millionaire, but I am going to give you some little tips that you may not know already, some of them you may know, but can help you in your situation. And a lot of these may be common sense ideas, but you just don't know them until someone actually points them out to you. You're like, oh yeah, shit, I didn't think of that, but that's so true. So let's go over some of those ideas today that can help you get back on track and hopefully improve your situation, your financial situation as a single parent. Now, the biggest, most important thing is to keep a track of your spending leaks. And this used to be my biggest downfall. You'd buy things, you'd go to the shop, you just buy a coffee here and there. Or you'd go to the shops with your kids and they're, oh, Mum, can I have a drink? Can I have an ice cream? Can I have a donut? Yeah, sure, no worries. You're in Kmart. Can we go to the toy section? Just little things like that. And you'd give in to them each time because, oh, it's Kmart. It's only a few dollars. Or, sure, it's just a milkshake. It's only $4. But eventually, this money adds up. And over a week or over a month, that's a good chunk of money. And these are what you call spending leaks. Spending money in areas that you don't need to be spending money on. For example, you might have the ice cream truck come past your house, but you've got a whole container of ice cream in your freezer. Why would you spend $5 or $6 on a Mr. Whippy ice cream or whatever they're called these days when you can buy a whole packet or a whole container of ice cream for that same amount? Think about where you're spending your money and where you can cut back. Do you need to give in to your kids or to yourself each time when you see something that you like? Or can you stop yourself and go, hold on, I don't need that coffee today. I'm just doing it because it's a habit. Or no, I'm not going to stop and buy my kids a drink. We're literally 5 minutes from home. We've got plenty of drink at home. We don't need to buy one now when we can just wait till we get home. They're not dying of thirst. Little things like that you can keep track of and just be conscious of in the moment because it's so easy just to give in so you can avoid any drama or any fighting. Or even for yourself, you might just think, oh, I'm thirsty, I'll just grab a drink. But you're in the same situation. You're literally maybe a couple of minutes from home. Why don't you just get one at home? But it doesn't just apply to little coffees and milkshakes and little drinks here and there. It also applies to takeaway food and going out and buying clothes and all these other expenses that you just might see in the moment and think, yeah, I like it. Or you might just think, oh, I'm not cooking tonight. We're just going to go out to dinner. Well, that's nice and it's fun. And who wouldn't love to go out to dinner every night and not have to worry about cooking? If you are tight on your money, then is that the right option to do? And it's very easy to just say, oh, I've been working hard, I deserve this. Or, oh, I've had a big day at work. Or, yeah, I've earned that. Yeah, let's go out for dinner. But then come time for your bills to come or other stuff comes around or you get an unexpected expense or unexpected bill coming in. And then it's like, shit, if we didn't spend $100 and something on that dinner last night when we went out to that restaurant, I might have been able to comfortably pay that, but I probably can't now. So it's about just keeping track of where you're going. Or do you need to? Do you really need to treat yourself with something because you've had a big day? I mean, yes, of course, treat yourself. But do you need to treat yourself in such an expensive way if your budget doesn't allow it? It's realistically, we all have those days where we just don't feel like cooking. We all have them. It's normal. Who likes cooking? I don't. And the most annoying part of that is planning what to cook. And especially as a single parent, you're planning it all, you're thinking it all, you're cooking it all, you're cleaning it all, you're doing it all. And it's quite easy to get to the point, it's like, fuck it, I just can't be bothered tonight. Let's go out to dinner or let's get takeaway. And that's all good and well if it's once in a while. But if it's all the time and it's happening maybe once or twice a week, that's a lot of money that's cutting out of your finances or out of your money that could be put away. That could stop you from living week to week. Now, like I said, stopping these things is not going to make you a millionaire, but it could help you put more money aside, where it's just about having a bit of lump sum money in an account where maybe you've got your car insurance coming up, or you've got to go to the dentist, or you've got some sort of larger bill coming up that you couldn't normally afford to do out of your regular fortnightly paycheck or your monthly paycheck or whatever it is. And you've got this money put aside So for these emergencies, when they do come up, you can comfortably be able to do that. So instead of spending money on going out to a restaurant or spending on a new dress when you don't really need it, you're just out shopping and go, oh, that's cute, I might buy that. But then you get home, it's like, it is nice and I really do like it, but where am I going to wear it? And we've probably all done that. I've done that so many times. You see things on sale, especially online stuff. How easy is that? And you constantly get notified of sales. And when it's your birthday, you get all these emails for vouchers for your birthday, $20 off here. And you think, oh, I might use that. And then you're getting sucked into spending money. And then the next minute, this parcel turns up at your door. Think, oh, that's really nice. And then you put it on, you're trying it out, and you're like, but where would I wear this? When would I wear it? You might get a couple of uses out of it, but was it necessary to spend that money on that dress or that outfit or whatever it is you just bought if it's not going to be something you're going to get regular use out of? If it's something you're using all the time, like maybe it's a pair of sneakers or everyday shoes or something you wear regularly, then that's justifiable. That's something you're going to get the use out of, and that's clearly something you need because you use it all the time. But if it's something you bought just because it's cute and because it's a good price, it's not really a need. It's a want. So the biggest thing to focus on when you're trying to cut back on expenses is focus. Do you really need it? Or are you doing it just to look good, to impress people? And most importantly, can you afford it? You might be able to afford it then and there in that moment, but are other expenses being put on the back burner and being neglected because of the money that you're putting towards that shopping or that expense that you've just purchased? So spending leaks is a huge one when you're focusing on your finances. If you're sick of living week to week and you want to start putting some money aside so you've got a little bit of money there available for emergencies, because it is quite common for people not to have that. It's not a rare thing to see people that just don't have any savings. They're living week to week. It's also extremely common to see people that are saying, oh, I've got no money, I'm broke, or I'm this, or I'm that. But then they're dressed beautifully, or they got all this stuff that they buy, or they're going out and buying this takeaway all the time. And you're seeing them spending money in areas. It's just like, are you broke? Or are you just poorly managing your money? That's two very different things. Because quite often people are broke, not because they don't have enough money, it's because they're not spending it wisely. And they're just spending it on things that they don't need. It's a bad habit to get into, just to purchase things to make you feel good. Like what I just said, when you've had a shit day at work, so you want to go out and buy dinner because you think you deserve it, which granted, we all deserve to treat ourselves if it fits in your budget, but don't make it a regular habit. And we all need to buy clothes and we all need to buy certain things for ourselves here and there. But again, don't make it a regular habit. Make sure it fits in with what your budget allows. So when you're focusing on your finances, the biggest tip, make sure your bills are getting paid before you start shopping anywhere else. I myself used to have an extremely terrible spending habit. I would get paid, and as soon as that money came in, I'd be like, right, let's go out to dinner. Let's go get our nails done. Let's go get my hair done. Let's go do this. And then living a nice, fun life. But then the bills would come in. It's like, oh, shit, I didn't plan for that. And it's embarrassing to say, it is. It's not a nice habit to get into. But I know I'm not the only person in that boat. And now I'm not there now. That's where I used to be. Now, the first thing I do, as soon as I have money in my account, all my bills are paid straight up. So that's one less thing I have to worry about. I put money in my bills and I put money in savings. So instead of just thinking, okay, yeah, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy this, and then whatever's left over, I might spend on my bills. And if there's anything left over, I might save it, I might not. It's very important when you get paid to put a small amount of savings away for yourself. Always pay yourself first. Even if it's only $10 a week, do what you can. A small amount is better than no amount. So when you're looking at improving your financial situation, start by focusing on where you're spending your money. When you're buying something, think to yourself, do I need this? Do I really need to buy a takeaway lunch when I'm heading back home and I know I've got plenty of food at home in the fridge? Do I need to be buying that coffee every day? Do I need to be buying the kids a treat every time we go to the shops? Think about where you're spending your money, and do you need it or do you just want it? And then most importantly, focus on putting some money aside for you as soon as you get paid. Not at the end of the pay week or the pay fortnight or however frequently you get paid. Put a small amount of money aside for you. And then if worse comes to worse and you have run short, then maybe you can tap into that. But it's something good that you can start putting aside. So when you do have those larger expenses come in, you've got that money sitting there, even if it's for a holiday later down the track. That small amount that you're putting aside makes a big difference. And then when you start cutting back on these unnecessary expenses or these expenses that you were doing on a daily basis, like if you're buying a coffee every day, every single day, just say Monday to Friday, and you're not doing it on weekends, where most people do it on weekends, that's roughly $25 a week if you're just doing it once a day, 5 days a week. So you're looking at $100 a month that you're spending on coffee, minimum, because they're now, most places are now more than $5. So that's a good chunk of money that is going in someone else's pocket that you could keep in yours. Now, I'm not telling you to stop drinking coffee, but do you need to have it every day? Or can you maybe have it at home? Are there other options? Can you have it at work? Maybe it's not coffee. Maybe there is something else that you spend every day and you don't realize how much you're spending because it's only a couple of dollars here and there. But when you start realizing all these little money leaks that you have, that are things that you're spending that you don't necessarily need to do, it makes a big difference of how much money you're spending and how much money you could be saving and keeping in your pocket. So focus on where your money's going. Now, I'm not going to say to sit down and write a list of everything that you spend your money on because I don't do that. There are probably some people out there that do that. If you're that organized, then hey, go for it. But if you're that bad with spending and you're really unsure of where your money's going, then maybe that's a good idea for you so you can keep track of everything. Or you could just sit down and go through your bank statement. But keeping a track of where your money's going, even if it's just mentally, and you're thinking back in that day where your money went. Okay, I got a manicure today. I bought a coffee. I went out for lunch. I bought some stuff from the shops. I bought petrol. I bought this. I bought that. It all adds up. And is there expenses or is there money that you spend in a day or however frequently it is that you shop that you don't need to be spending? And that is one way to start getting ahead financially, by looking at your unnecessary expenses. And that's what I was saying. I was terrible at that. I was just spending money left, right, and center and not realizing how much I was blindly spending because I wasn't focused on it. I just knew I had the money there. So I was like, yep, let's go buy that. Let's go buy that. But if you've got plenty of money and you're in a situation where that doesn't bother you, then you keep rolling with that. But if you're in a situation where you need to improve your finances, which I'm guessing you are, which is why you're listening to this episode, then that is your best place to start. Focus on your unnecessary expenses. That's causing you to spend money on things that you don't need to be spending money on. And next time you go to buy this purchase or spend that money on that item that you normally buy, when you know it's not a necessary purchase, maybe you can put that money in a little savings account instead. And that $5, $10 that you would have spent, you can then put it into your savings account. And that is a perfect way to start by focusing on your finances as a way to start getting ahead. Just remember, if you are wanting to improve your situation, it's not going to change overnight. It's a slow process. So taking those small steps that will make a difference in the long run is how you go about it. And if it's changing $5 a day or a small little expense here and there, that's how you start. Start taking small steps and eventually you'll see the difference. Now, another little tip, and again, this is not a big money saving tip, but it's something that will help put the money in your pocket, not somebody else's. And that is to be cautious of those ATMs that charge crazy fees just to withdraw money out. Now, it's rare that people do actually withdraw money these days, but eventually we get caught out when you have to. So avoid those ATMs. I was with someone the other day and they charged $2.80 just to take money out. And for me, I just find that mind-boggling. It's like, holy smokes, why are you doing that? Why are you not going to another ATM or getting cash beforehand? So this is something to be mindful of. If you're going somewhere where you need cash, which is rare these days because everywhere usually does tap, then plan ahead, get your money out beforehand, or go to a bank that is where you bank, where they're not going to charge crazy fees. And here's another tip when paying by card. Did you realize that when you tap, you get charged credit card fees? Now, not all places do this, but a lot of places will charge you a credit card fee if you tap. But if you swipe your card and put your PIN number in, you will not get charged those credit card fees because that's taken as an FPOS transaction, not a credit transaction. So something to keep in mind there. But again, not many people even carry a wallet or cards these days because we're so used to just carrying our phone where we can just tap. But if you're wanting to look at getting on top of that, and it is not a huge expense, but it is something little that will make a difference, and that will be the money in your pocket. And that is avoid tapping, and you can just swipe and put your credit card in, swipe and put your PIN number in, and you avoid those extra charges. Now, another thing, people think that they have to be loyal to providers. Now, that could be their phone provider, your electricity company, even your superannuation fund. People are so used to just sticking to that plan or that contract or their fund or whatever it is that they're with because that's just what they know or because it's just easier. But is it the cheapest option? Are you with a bank account that's charging you heaps of monthly fees? Well, not heaps, but charging you a monthly fee. But if you shop around, you could find another bank that offers accounts with 0 monthly fees. Are there better credit card options out there than the one that you currently have? Are there better phone plans or phone providers out there, phone options, where you can get a better deal? Obviously, if you're on a contract, then you've got to finish that contract out. So you can't really shop around if you are on a contract. But if you're not, shop around. Look for a cheaper plan. Now, my phone contract finishes later this year, I think. And I'm one that used to get in the habit of when my contract ended, I would go get a new phone and it will start a whole new contract again. And it'll be that cycle over and over again. But my phone's in good condition. I'm quite happy with it. It's still an extremely new model. And I don't think I'm going to upgrade this year. I don't need to. So I'm quite looking forward to getting a whole new plan without paying a handset or anything else where I can save that money. It's a cheaper phone plan and I don't have to stay with the same provider. That's something to keep in mind. And that applies with everything. Your electricity, your gas, anything that you're paying, any utility, any bills you're paying. You don't have to stick with them just because it's what you know and who you know. Shop around, look for a better deal. If you're not on a contract, see what you can get where you're saving money and it's giving you money in your pocket. And same applies with super. Don't think because that's what your employer has given you that that's what you have to use. You can shop around and look for the best super fund out there that's the most beneficial to you, that's going to benefit you at the time when you need it most. And on that, don't forget that if you have multiple super funds, consolidate them because you're paying fees on all these different accounts. So make sure you only have the one superannuation account instead of paying all these unnecessary fees, which is going to affect you in the long run. Now, when it comes to our grocery shops or just shopping in general, shop around. Look for the cheapest option. Do you have to stick with a specific brand just because that's what you know? I'll be honest here. I used to be one of those people that avoided Aldi. For some reason, I used to be anti-Aldi. No, it's all just cheap stuff. I'm not interested. Refuse to go there. Now, I know that may sound a bit snotty of me, but I'm all about Aldi now because it's so much cheaper. And I've had so many people tell me that their products are pretty much the same ingredients as what you get in the other more expensive brands. It's very little difference, but it's a big difference with the price. So yes, I'm all about shopping for Aldi. Now, I will admit, I usually can't do a full shop. I do most of it there, but there are little things that I do like that I am very particular with that I can't get from Aldi that I do have to go to the other supermarkets. Shop around, get a cheaper price. Don't be scared to start changing your cleaning products or anything else that you use because it's easy to start, use a particular brand of something and go, oh no, that's just what I like. I know it's good. And again, I refuse to use the cleaning products at Aldi. I've refused to use certain things from there because I just thought it was crap. And I've had so many people tell me, nope, they're just as good, if not better. Now, I'm not promoting a certain supermarket over anyone else, but I am saying if there's nothing wrong with that product and it's pretty much the same stuff and it's much cheaper, wouldn't you rather keep that money in your pocket instead of making someone else richer? That's all I can say with that. Just something to think about when you're shopping. Do you need to be buying the most expensive brand? And especially when you're tight on money and you want to cut back on costs, that's a big tip to think about. If you are someone that is focusing on cutting back, then think about where you're spending your money in the supermarket and at the shops, and can you be looking for a cheaper option? Now, another option when it comes to petrol is use the Fuel Check app, because it tells you how much the petrol costs at all the different petrol stations in your area. So instead of just going to the one that you know or the one that you're used to going, check the Fuel Check app and see how much it is in the other ones in your area. It's worthwhile using to check out if you're going to fill up your tank. It makes a big difference if you're shopping around and having a look at what's available. Now, again, I don't want to promote someone else over the other, but another one I use is the 7-Eleven Fuel Lock. If you use your Fuel Lock app, it'll give you the price of the cheapest 7-Eleven in your area, and then you get that at no matter which 7-Eleven you go to. So keep track of your petrol. There are days that are cheaper. I think it's Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure the days for the cheapest fuel is Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Keep a heads up of that. Once you get in the habit of knowing what you're spending, and then you'll be conscious of where you're spending it all the time, and then you'll start to look, no, I'm not wasting my money there. I'll go somewhere else. Or I know I've got to go to this shop tomorrow, so on my way there, I'll fill up there because I know it's usually cheaper there. So check it out instead of just jumping to it because you know you've got to do it. Then this makes a huge difference. And doing all these things that I've discussed today will all compound up and make a big difference because you're saving small bits of money in all these different areas, whether it be getting a cheaper phone bill or an internet plan or a cheaper electricity plan or anything, getting a bank account that doesn't charge you fees, or watching where you shop and buying specials, or even if it's not buying specials, buying the cheaper option. These are all things that will start putting money into your pocket, will start helping you get on top of your finances. And again, it's not going to make a difference overnight, but eventually you will start to see it. And you can start putting away $10, $20, $30 each week because you've got this little bit of money extra or left over. And then eventually you can get your little backup fund going and you will start to see it build. And it's exciting to see that savings account build up. And it's like, oh, okay, I've reached $1,000. Yay, I can't wait to reach $2,000. Yay, I can't wait to reach $5,000. It's exciting when you start cutting back on costs and you can start putting money away and you see that savings account grow. That's something fun. And it's nice to know that you've got that backup money there. So when something does happen, you're like, that's okay, I've got that money there. Because when you don't have money and you're living week to week, it is so fucking stressful. It really is. But when you're being mindful of your expenses and what you're doing, it makes such a huge difference. Now, another thing I used to do when I used to be really tight, and because I was a business owner, you don't get your regular weekly income. So what I was doing, I would put small amounts of money each time I was getting paid onto my electricity bill or onto my phone bill or any bill that I knew I had coming up. I'd put these little small amounts on there each time I had money coming in. So when the bill came through, I was either in credit or I had a small amount owing, which is a lot less stressful. Because when you get a big bill for like $300-$400 and you're living week to week, that's a fucking nightmare. You open the bill and you just see red. You're like, holy fuck, how am I going to do this? But when you're planning and you're cutting back on all these costs, or you're putting a little bit of money onto these bills as you get paid, it makes a huge difference. And for those of you that are on government benefits, I know here in Australia, if you're on any Centrelink payments, you can get some of that payment go straight onto some of your bills. You can pick if you want it onto a phone bill or if you want it to go onto an electricity bill, you can select to do that. So it'll come straight out of your payment that you get and it'll go straight onto that bill. So you don't get to see it, you don't touch it, but it goes directly onto that bill. So then when you get it, it's less money out of your pocket that you have to worry about at the time. Or you may even get your bill and it may be in credit because you've been paying off enough each fortnight. So that's a good way to keep on track of your bills if you're someone that doesn't plan ahead very well. But hopefully after this, you will start planning ahead. But if that's something that you find tough, getting those big monthly bills or quarterly bills, I should say, then start looking at doing that. Start looking at small little payments here and there that'll make a difference. When you've got a larger lump sum payment come through, or if you've got extra sitting on hand, put it towards a bill so you're not freaking out when that bill comes, or even put it towards saving or in a separate account. So when the bill comes, then you've got money there. Now, another thing you can look at doing is look at ways that you can have money coming in. Is there something you can do to bring you some extra income? Now, one thing that we all forget about is we all have things in our house that we don't need or we don't use, or the kids have grown out of, or we've just lost interest in. I went through a big decluttering period in my house last weekend, and I decluttered so much. And there's a lot of things that I've come across and I'm like, I would never use this again. My daughter's grown out of it. This is brand new. It's hardly been touched. I found a dress that I've never once worn that had the tags on it. And I looked at it, I thought, that's nice, but I don't think I would wear that. So I popped it on Marketplace. And mind you, you don't get anywhere near the price that you would expect. If you've that was like nearly a $200 dress that I had that I'd never once worn. And I know for a fact I was never going to get $200 for it. So you've got the option of selling it cheap and just getting a small amount of money in your pocket, or you can hang on to it and let it collect dust, or you can donate it. So I did choose to put a few things on Marketplace that I've just had sitting here and they've just been collecting dust and they were just too good to throw away. So Marketplace is a bit of a pain in the ass. Sometimes you do get some of the most stupidest questions and people expecting the world from you when you're selling something for next to nothing. So if you can deal with that, then go for it. Go through your house and get rid of stuff that you no longer need or you no longer use and put it on Marketplace. You've got nothing to lose. I mean, you can either put it on Marketplace and deal with the shitty questions, or you can just not deal with them and block them. Hey, fuck, you don't have to deal with anyone. Or you can donate it. It's up to you. But we've all got shit in our house that we no longer need or use. And why let it sit around and collect dust and pretty much clutter up your house? Why not get rid of it, get rid of the clutter, get rid of all that old energy, that stuff you don't need, and sell it. Get that money in your pocket. That's what I did. I went around last weekend and I wasn't decluttering just to put stuff on Marketplace. I was just getting rid of stuff that I no longer need, cleaning out all these little areas of my house that have just ended up getting cluttered. And anything that I feel like I don't need, I'm going to pop it on Marketplace or I'm going to put in a donation bin. So why not do a little walk around your house? Go through your kids' bedrooms, because I guarantee they'll probably have stuff in there that they've grown out of or that they don't use, and put some stuff on Marketplace and get some money from it. And for those of you that do follow me on my Instagram page, you may have seen that I've shared recently in my stories there that I trialed out one of those survey companies, because I've seen a lot of things on a few Facebook pages about people doing surveys and getting paid for it. And I was curious. I'm like, okay, well, let's check this out. And I didn't really do it as a way to get income. I did it just a way to test it out and to see what it was about, because I have had mixed reviews from these things. I have heard people say they're all scams. I have heard people say they're a waste of time, but I have also heard people say that you can get some money from it and they're pretty good. So I trialed one out. And I've done a few little surveys, and I've just done them when I'm sitting down watching TV. Some of them take about 10-15 minutes. I think that's usually the longest time frame it takes. I don't think I've done one longer. I don't know. And you get paid for it. You don't get paid big bucks. So if you're looking at making big chunks of money, it's not going to be like a second income, but it is a little bit of money that you can get just by answering a few questions, just by sitting around on the lounge at night when the kids are in bed. And the one that I trialed out, it will pay you by either, I haven't redeemed any yet, but I think I've got about $28 sitting there now. And you can get paid by either gift voucher, and I don't know how that works if they post it to you or what, I haven't really looked into it yet, or they can just transfer it straight into your account. So there's two options there, and there's so many different survey companies around, but just be careful. Maybe do a search on some reliable survey companies in your country. and just test it out to see what it was like. That's one way you're looking at getting a little bit of extra money. And if it's not going to be a big money boost that's going to help you out, it's something to think about. If you're looking at getting some extra money coming in, why not sit down at night and just click away on some surveys, even if you lunch break? That's food for thought, something to think about there. Another thing that I've seen people do, I've never got into this, but a lot of people do the collecting of cans and bottles. A lot of people do it. I don't think you get a lot from it, but hey, if you use cans and bottles and you have neighbors that use cans and bottles and they just throw them out, then why not start doing it? Maybe even just do it for the kids. It's a good way to teach them saving habits. So the more they collect, the more money they get, and then teach them or encourage them to save that money. So if it's something that you think it's not going to benefit you because it's not a huge amount of money you can get from it, then maybe do it with the kids. And a fun thing for them to do, collect all the cans and bottles. I know a lot of people that do it with their kids. If you've got cans and bottles at home and you've got neighbors that have cans and bottles and they just chuck them out, then speak to them. See if, hey, at the end of the week, before you put your bin out, can I grab your cans and bottles or whatever else? Then go cash them in when you've got a big stash of them. I can't imagine you get too much, but at the end of the day, it's money for doing nothing. If you've already got the cans and bottles, then why not? So that's something else that you could think of or that you could do to get a bit of extra cash. Or again, teach your kids some saving habits and how to collect things and then get money and put it aside for things and save for something big. Now, I did touch on bank accounts before, just looking for accounts that don't charge fees or charge minimal fees per month and looking for your best bank option. Now, another thing is to check your statement. Make sure you don't have any little random expenses or debits or anything coming out of your account that you're not aware of, one, and two, that is unnecessary, because you may not realize that you have these direct debits coming out and you're just used to it coming out and you don't even realize and don't even stop and think, do I need this? Why is this even coming out? I didn't even notice until yesterday. I've got 2 lots of Apple payments coming out. One for, I think, about 15, another for 5. And they're both for storage. So I'm getting paid for 2 different storage limits for iCloud. I think it's extra iCloud. Why am I getting paid for these? Because they're not subscriptions. They're not like Netflix or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And I'm getting paid twice a month with 2 separate amounts. So it's little things like that where you're getting these payments coming out of your account that you may not realize and you just leave them there. And it may just be $5 a month, but that's $5 a month that you could be putting away or you could be keeping in your pocket. Keep track of all your expenses and anything that's coming out of your statement. Maybe sit down at the end of the month and have a little quick review, or whenever you get a chance, just go over your statement and check any payments that's coming out. And just lastly, one more thing I want to say is your subscriptions. Now, I have touched base on this on my previous episode when living on one income, when cutting back on costs. And I will mention it again because there's so many subscriptions that we have these days that we just don't even realize. It might be a $5 subscription, or it might be a $15 subscription, and in the moment you think, yeah, it's not much. But when you get all these different types of subscriptions, and then one day you're getting a payment for this, and the next day you got a payment for that, and the next day you got a payment. All these subscriptions add up. So if you add them all up together, it could easily be a minimum $50 a month, if not more. Now, do you need to be spending all this money on subscriptions? Are you aware of how much you're spending? That's a big thing. Have a look at what your subscriptions are, and it's easy enough to do if you've got an iPhone. I don't know how it works on Samsungs. I'm pretty sure it's the same. But on iPhones, you can just go to, I think it's in settings. Oh my God, I shouldn't have even said it because I can't even remember now off the top of my head. But there is an area where you can go onto your phone and check what subscriptions you have that are coming out and when it comes out. And you can easily stop it and cancel it from your phone. So just check your subscriptions and look at what you're paying each month. Do I need to be paying all this? Do I need all these streaming services? Do I need all these extra other apps or whatever else that I'm paying for? Now, another little thing I did say lastly to the last topic, but I'm going to mention this little one briefly. I'm not going to talk about it too much because this is not my area of expertise, but investing. This is something great to get involved in. It's a great area to look at, to put money aside for the future. It's something I've started looking into and it's something I've been doing, but it's something I'm not skilled enough in the area to really talk too much about. It is something I do want to do a show on later down the track about investing and getting ahead that way. if you are looking at putting money aside and you are looking at different options, then investing is a good place to start. I've started looking into it by listening to certain podcasts on investing. I've also joined a few different Facebook groups and just learning a few little things about it here and there. I've dipped my toes in it. I've only just started getting into it probably last year, but it is something exciting. I like jumping onto the apps and having a look and seeing what's out there. So get involved in that. Start learning, start educating yourself in the world of investing. It's something fun, it's exciting, and it's a great place to grow your money. So why not look into it? That's about it for me. I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you got some useful information from this and you didn't sit there going, well, fuck Leanne, I already know this. But be smart with your money. And money leaks is the biggest one. We all have a habit of just, oh, fuck, I need a coffee today. Or the kids, it's been a hot day at school. Mum, can I have a slushy drink? You're out at the shops after school. Mummy, can I have Macca's? Can I have KFC? And then you just get sucked in and you buy it. These are all money leaks. Do you need to be buying these things when you've got stuff at home? So just think about where you're spending your money. That's the biggest thing. So many people that are spending money. And you see they've got nice things and doing nice things, but then they're saying that they're broke. Now, no disrespect to them because no one teaches us about money in life. And that's something I wish they did in school. I wish they taught us how to handle money because I'd be in a much better financial position if they did. Because being on my own for so long as a single parent, it hasn't been my strong point. And it is embarrassing to admit in a way, but it's true. I'm not going to deny who I am. I've never been the best with money. And I am in a place now where I am much better with it. Because I've learned to teach myself. I've got to a place like, oh, fuck, this isn't good. I've got to start making changes. So I've learned to look at different ways to handle it and how to manage it and how to look after it. And if you're smart with your money, it can really make a difference. And if you stop spending things and spending money in areas where you don't need to be, you will start to see a difference. Start paying your bills as soon as you get paid and not go shopping and then pay bills. Start paying yourself as soon as you get paid. They're two big things. When you get paid, pay yourself, put money in your savings account and pay your bills and then go shopping. Think about that and be careful with where you're spending your money. Sit down and do a little checklist on where your money is going. You don't have to do a little diary of everything. Some people do. If you have the time and you want to do that, then go for it. But you don't have to. You don't have to diarize everything. But just know where your money is going and have a look at, can you be putting it towards something cheaper? Is there another option that you could be spending it on? Or do you need to be spending your money on that altogether? There's some things to think about. And also your utilities, can you find a cheaper option? Cut back where you can. Sell things around the house. Can you bring extra money in? And also, I didn't really touch base on this, but if you are skilled in a certain area, if you're good at something, start a side hobby from home. If you have a full-time job and you're struggling and you're wanting to make some extra money, can you do something? Like, can you do some ironing on the side? Can you mow lawns on the side? Is there something you can do on the side that will help bring some extra money in just to help you get that little bit ahead? Bringing in some extra money if you're living week to week is a huge difference. It will make the world of difference. Menu log deliveries, tutoring, anything. If you're skilled in a certain area and you think you can get some money from it, then why not advertise it? Put it on Airtasker, put it on Marketplace, advertise it somewhere, and you might not get much from it, but hey, if it's something easy that you can do at home as a single parent when you've got your kids there, then why not do it if it means getting some extra money coming in? So maybe look at starting a hobby or look at doing something where you can get paid for it. So have a think about that. Have a think about what you're good at. Have a think about what you're passionate about. Have a think about what you enjoy doing and see, is that something that you can maybe put into a hobby where you can get paid for? And who knows, it may even end up turning into a long-term business. It may just be something that you do on the side for a bit of extra money. A lot of people do it, and it's a great way to get that extra money coming in. So I hope this has provided some useful tips for you to get ahead financially. This is not going to make you a millionaire, but it is going to help you be a lot more conscious and a lot more aware of what you're doing with your money and where it's going and how to improve your situation. And even just things around the house. I remember when I grew up, I was always told, turn the PowerPoints off if you're not using them. And I've now got into the habit of doing that because it does. It saves on electricity when you have your PowerPoints turned off. So any PowerPoint that I'm not using, I now turn it off because that's what was drummed into my head. So just little things like that, and it saves on electricity. Are there things that you're doing around the house that can save on your utility bills? So just have a think, be aware, be mindful of what you're doing, where you're spending your money, and can you improve your financial situation just by making some small little changes here and there? And you can put a small amount of money aside, even to a little money box tin, one of those money boxes that you can't open. Put it into a little tin, and maybe in a couple of months down the track or a year down the track, you can open up and you're like, holy fuck, there's a few $1,000s in here. Who knows? Maybe if you do go get a coffee every day and that's $5, you can just chuck it in that tin and later down the track, you can open it and say, whoa, that's something to look forward to. So food for thought, guys. I hope you got something out of this, and I hope this does improve your financial situation a little bit, because as single parents, it's tough. It's tough. We get to a point, it's like, fuck, I'm just sick of doing this on my own. I want someone to help me. But you don't want to be in a relationship just because you want someone to help you out financially. You want to be strong and confident and independent, where you know you can do it on your own. And so when you do meet someone, you don't have to rely on that other person, because you know that you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. So let's work in improving our situation, so you're not having to struggle each week, and you're not having to get to the end of your pay fortnight and go, fuck, I've got nothing left, or I can't even go out in the car because I've got no petrol. Think about what you're doing, and let's improve your situation. All right, guys, thank you again. And I'll say it one last time. I hope you got something from this episode. And until next time, I'll be in your ears then.